Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to whoever watch this video. Me as Ibratul Ishla and my partner Zaky Rahmat are going to explain about semantics. Semantics, as a crucial subfield of linguistics and philosophy of language, delves into the study of meaning in language. It explores how words, phrases, and sentences convey meaning and how this meaning is interpreted by speakers and listeners within specific linguistic and contextual frameworks. So, in this video, me and my partner are going to explain about meaning of words, semantics relations, ambiguity of semantics, types of semantics, and the last one is examples of semantics. So the first one is meaning of words. Semantics is the study of meaning. Meaning refers to the relationship between symbols such as words, phrases, and symbols themselves, and what they stand for in the world. This relationship is not fixed or absolute, rather, it is dynamic and context dependent. Semantics seeks to uncover the underlying principles and mechanisms that govern how meaning is generated, interpreted, and communicated. Meaning has been defined differently in the past. Meaning is equal to connotation. The meaning of a term is defined by the images that its users associate with. For example, winter may refer to snow, sledging, or mulled wine. What about someone who lives in the Amazon? The term winter has lost its original meaning due to the current damp and hot weather. At its core, the meaning of a word encompasses various dimensions that contribute to its semantic richness. These dimensions include there is denotation. Denotation refers to the literal or dictionary definition of a word. It represents the basic objective meaning that is universally understood by speakers of a language. For example, the word dog denotes a domesticated carnivorous mammal. And there is connotation. Connotation goes beyond the denotative meaning and involves the associated emotions, attitudes, or cultural implications of a word. Connotations are subjective and can vary based on individual experiences and societal contexts. For example, the word home may connote feelings of warmth, security, and belonging. And there is sense. Sense in semantics refers to the specific aspect or aspects of meaning that a word conveys in different contexts. Words often have multiple senses, and understanding which sense is intended relies on contextual clues. For example, the word bank can refer to a financial institution or the side of a river. And there is reference. Reference deals with the relationship between words and the entities that represent in the real world. Words can refer to concrete objects, abstract concepts, or specific individuals. And there is polysemy and homonymy. Polysemy occurs when a word has multiple related meanings that stem from a common origin. For example, bat can refer to a flying mammal or a piece of sports equipment. For homonymy, on the other hand, involves words that are spelled and pronounced the same but have different meanings, such as bark, the sound a dog makes, and bark, the outer covering of a tree. For ambiguity, Ambiguity arises when a word or phrases can be interpreted in more than one way, leading to potential confusion or different interpretations. Resolving ambiguity often requires additional context or linguistic cues. For example, the phrase "I saw a man on a hill with a telescope" could mean either that the man had a telescope or that the speaker used a telescope to see the man on the hill. And the last one is semantic roles. Semantic roles refer to the relationships that words play in a sentence based on their roles as agents, patients, instruments, locations, etc. For instance, in the sentence, "The cat chased the mouse." Cat is the agent performing the action, while mouse is the patient receiving the action. And then we move to types of semantics. Semantics, in the context of linguistics and philosophy of language, refers to the study of meaning. There are several types of semantics that help us understand how meaning is constructed and interpreted in language. The first type of semantics is lexical semantics. Lexical semantics delves into the intricate realm of word meaning, exploring how words convey concepts, relationships, and nuances that shape communication. Lexical semantics concerns itself with the meaning of words, examining how individual words capture and represent ideas, objects, actions, emotions, and abstract concepts. For examples of lexical relations include synonyms, words with similar meanings like big and large; antonyms, words with opposite meanings like hot and cold; hyponyms, words that are more specific versions of a general word like rose is a hyponym of flower; and there is hypernyms, words that are more general versions of a specific word like animal is a hypernym of dog. And then we move to compositional semantics. Compositional semantics is a fundamental aspect of linguistic analysis that seeks to understand the meaning of sentences by examining the meanings of their constituent parts and the rules by which these parts are combined. Compositional semantics is like taking apart a puzzle to understand how each piece fits together to make a complete picture. In language, it means looking at how the words in a sentence work together to create meaning. Imagine you have a sentence like "The cat is on the mat." Compositional semantics breaks this down to see what each word means and how they combine. So if there's really a cat sitting on a mat, then the sentence is true. There is another example for compositional semantics. Like "I saw the man with the telescope" can mean either the man had a telescope or the speaker used one to see him. Compositional semantics looks at the words and the situation to figure out which meaning makes the most sense. And the last type of semantic is pragmatics. Pragmatics is the study of language use in context, focusing on how language is used to achieve specific goals and how meaning is interpreted beyond the literal words. One of the key aspects of pragmatics is understanding that meaning goes beyond the literal interpretation of words. So, pragmatics is all about understanding the hidden meanings in communication. It's like knowing when someone says "it's cold in here," they might mean they want the heat turned up, or they're just making an observation. It's about reading between the lines and considering things like tone, context, and body language to figure out what someone really means. So, this helps us avoid misunderstandings because words can have different meanings depending on how they're used. For example, I saw her duck could mean watching someone dodge something or looking at a bird. Pragmatics helps us figure out which one makes sense based on the situation and what we know about the speaker. Now we move to the last discussion examples of semantics. The first example of semantics is semantics in everyday life. One part of studying language is understanding the many meanings of individual words. Once you have a handle on the words themselves, context comes into play. The same word can be said to two people and they can interpret them differently. For example, imagine a man told a woman, I care for you a lot. Wouldn't that make the woman's heart melt? Sure, if he just said that out of the blue, walking down the beach one day. But what if the woman told the man, I love you, and after a long pause, all he said was, I care for you a lot? She'd be crushed. So, context will always play a role in everyday semantics. Another examples of everyday words that can have more than one meaning is fall. In one context, fall refers to the season between summer and winter. It's also known as autumn in many parts of the world. During this time, temperatures typically begin to cool down. Leaves change color and fall from trees, and daylight hours gradually shorten. Another meaning of fall relates to a decline or drop in something's position, value, or status. There is semantics and puns. Puns like to experiment with words. They intentionally use several meanings to change the meaning of a sentence. So, what we understand a word to mean might be manipulated to mean something different. A pun is a form of wordplay that exploits the multiple meanings of words or the similarity in sound between words with different meanings, often resulting in a humorous or clever effect. Let's explore some examples of puns along with their semantic aspects. I used to be a baker, but I couldn't make enough dough. In this pun, dough has a double meaning. It can refer to the money one earns, financial dough, or the dough used in baking. Another example is time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana. This pun plays on the homophonic similarity between flies. The verb is moves quickly, and flies, noun insects, creating a humorous twist. And there is lexical semantics. Lexical semantics deconstruct words and phrases within a line of text to understand the meaning in terms of context. These can include a study of individual nouns, verbs, adjectives, prefixes, root words, suffixes, or longer phrases or idioms. Lexical semantics involves analyzing the meaning of words and phrases within a specific context. For example, the dog chased the cat. Lexical semantics would analyze the meaning of dog, a domesticated mammal, and cat, another domesticated mammal, understanding their roles in the context of a chase. Another example of lexical semantics, he hit the ball out of the park. Lexical semantics would consider the literal meanings of hit, strike with force, and ball, a spherical object, along with the idiomatic expression out of the park. Extremely successful. Interpreting the overall meaning in the context of successful action. And then we move to compositional semantics. This refers to the way in which the meaning of a sentence is derived from the meanings of its individual parts and how these parts are combined grammatically. For example, the black cat sat on the mat. In this sentence, the meaning of black modifies cat to specify the color, while sat on indicates the cat's action towards the mat. The composition of these individual word meanings contributes to the overall meaning of the sentence. Another example of compositional semantics is John quickly ate the delicious pizza. Here, quickly ate forms a phrasal verb indicating the speed of John's eating. Delicious modifies pizza, conveying its quality. The composition of these phrases helps in understanding the sequence and quality of events in the sentence. Last one is pragmatics. Pragmatics refers to the study of how context influences the interpretation of language beyond its literal or compositional meaning. It deals with aspects such as speaker intentions, implicatures, presuppositions, and the social and cultural factors that affect communication. For example, a guest arrives late to a dinner party and the host says, "We were just about to eat." The literal meaning is that they were about to start eating, but the implicature is that the guest's arrival delayed the meaning. Another example of pragmatics, if someone says, "I regret eating that entire cake," the presupposition is that they did eat the entire cake.